Hi everyone, this is Don, Faces in the Stone. We're looking at some beautiful portraits, some stone artifacts from ancient America. You guys can see this head statue. It's a little more than just the head, of course. You can see the hair and the neck. It's a very, very unique and beautiful statue. If you look closely at the face there, where the eye socket is, you may be able to see some black paint. And when I tilt this, you'll be able to see how the lips and the mouth and the cheek and the features of that face really come out very well. See how it almost looks like a person looking away from us, right? It's really neat. I have a few of them to take a look at with you today. We have some very interesting modern artifacts as well. In this section, you see how there's a risen section here? This is for the eye of the character that's on the right-hand side. Believe it or not, there is also a character on the right of the statue. This is a great teaching piece because you guys can see that this is obviously intentional. And on the right-hand side, it's hard to make out. But you can see how the nose sticks out there, and then the carvings for the eyes. Let's go ahead and look at it from the front just a little bit here before I bore you too much, so that you can really see the details there. And sometimes we don't have to look on the very edge of the stone. Sometimes it's drawn in just on the interior here, so that the actual features of the face would not get destroyed by getting banged up. They would leave a little bit of a space there. Without going too deep into this one, guys, we're going to go ahead and look at a few other ones. I've got a lot set out for us today. Instead of just walking around with you guys and collecting some, I spent a little bit of time today and collected a few on my own. We have some very rare blue glass. This blue glass is extremely old. We have some points, some bones. We have some bricks. We have a lot of things to take a look at. And I think the first thing we can go ahead and get started on right now is this one, because this one is similar to the one that we're looking at here. The way that these work is you do stuff them in the ground, as they are totems. But here, on this one, we'll also have a portrait facing over to the left, the same kind of way. It doesn't look perfect at all. Much more interpretive, so to speak. But what this is, as you guys can see, for its common archaeological properties, this is a large hand axe. And so the way that you would hold this is in your right hand normally, but this is a huge axe. You can see a stone axe here. And I can go ahead and give it just a little knock on this tree, just to kind of show you. Yeah, it'll cut down the tree, no problem. This is a beautiful hand axe, and it's very big. Has a lot of weight to it. All right, guys, this is a pottery piece here. This is a bird effigy, of course. You guys can see the pointed beak and the crest on the right-hand side. And flipping it over here to this side, you can see the beak and the eye carving in there. Beautiful birds. We have some neighbors and some local landowners out today, so somebody may walk up on me. I can hear them talking now. What's interesting about this site is there are wooden effigies. Lots of wooden effigies out here. Not going to go too far into that. That is just a piece of bark, but it was packed in the clay. Another thing that we're looking at is these arrowheads that seem to be made out of brick. They have brick out here buried in the cache with the rest of these old artifacts. So it's pretty commonly known that the indigenous people would pick up and salvage anything that they could from the colonizers, right? This is what looks to be like a piece of pottery. I don't think it's stone. You can see how the edges of it are actually napped to make it sharp. And you can see how the little furthest point's coming out. Look closely right here at the white section. They carved little eyes all over this thing to show the little portraits that are within, and how they interpreted, portraits. Very, very curious piece. You can see how flat that really is. It looks almost, I mean, it's somewhat modern. Keep our focus right there. You can see the detail for the eye, the silhouette there on the right. So this video, sorry, I'm wheezing. This video is mostly about the modern materials that we're finding that have these images and things on them, which is making me think that a lot of this stuff is not as old as I originally thought. Also finding a lot of hollow stuff. So, as I said before, we have lots of wood out here. And so here is a sharpened or carved piece of charred wood. It may resemble a bird head on the right-hand side, the way that it's shaped. But you can blow through this. It's and I guess that would kind of happen naturally, because the tree, of course, has marrow and stuff in it. But you can see in the inside there's actually little hashes and cut marks, and it's cut flat. Very curious. Find a lot of these little sharpened sticks out here that are obviously intentionally sharpened. Let's go ahead and take a look at this crazy point here. Just have a few blades here. So you guys know when you're looking for artifacts, you want to look for that curved, sharp edge. See how that edge, you don't have to necessarily find tool marks. Tool marks and flint napping came at a bit of a later. I just had the biggest ant go into my shoe. We're gonna roll with that. I'm just gonna ignore it. So the bricks, here's another little piece of brick that has a couple little lines on it. Not positive about the bricks. It's up for debate. You'd have to find some more examples to really show that they were using the bricks, because these could very easily just float in. Some more little spikes, and of course all of these are little bird effigies. When you get them in a certain direction, they'll have a little bird head on them. Ooh, I didn't show you my little bird head on the big hand axe. Let me show you that real quick. So on this, it's all dirty now, you won't be able to see it. But there's actually just the tiniest little bird head on the top of this guy too. And actually, you can kind of see it better when I do that, because you can actually see the carving for the eye a little bit. Let's see. See if I can smooth it out to where you can see the carvings a little better. But just on the end of this big old axe is also another bird head here. Naturally. This is a piece of wood that was found in a cache. It is also sharpened on one end. You can see how this side has been sharpened. It's a little tough to show, but you guys can see it. On the other side here is flat. And it kind of resembles, maybe just like a cutting tool and a spoon. So you could cut your food and you could eat it with this, perhaps. Here's another one of those bones here. It could be just a bird bone. It's a hollow bone though. See light through the other side, I think. Here are a few little weird things that I found. Some of the stuff might be modern, just floating in. It almost looks like two pumpkin seeds put together. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that and see if we see any of the carvings on there. Yeah, I guess could be some stuff on here, but it's really hard to say. A little fossil thing here. There's a little, kind of like a scraper, burnt, charred piece of stone here. And here we have a very large, Salutrian point, I guess you call these. Again, with that tiniest little bird head on the very top. Just little weird points. Blades. Prismatic shards. This one's kind of wild. This is a piece of rubber. This is not rock, but this is a person who likes pareidolia, or likes to see faces in trees and things, which is not me. But these people who were into that kind of stuff, they would have loved this, and they sure did, because they carved in the little images on here. See the little nose poking out here. And I'm not going to depict this, guys, for you too much. It's kind of silly to do it. It is just a piece of rubber. But they used this, they took this and used it as a offering, or a way to do whatever they were doing here, to honor their people, however they were doing it with all this stuff. You can see the very, very clearly defined nose here, and I can see the images on it, but in the same art style on it, I do not expect you to. I do not expect you to at all. But it is a very curious piece. And here we have some of that blue glass there, like I was showing you, I think, already. We're going to take a closer look at that now. Looks like maybe one side of it was napped. It's got the number 12 on the back of it.